Hello, everybody. Live today, Don Lemon Live. The Don Lemon Show live from an undisclosed location. I'm so glad to have you on today. I'm so glad to be speaking to you, Lemon Nation. Thank you so much for joining. I hope everyone is there. So I have so much to talk about. I have all these notes, but I've been running around so much today, and I really do hope that you guys saw the show earlier that just aired and rolled right into this, the one with Jink Uger, where Jink talks about everything, right? Jink is very passionate. We love having him on. Jink and don't always agree, but that's the point, right? That is the point. So again, glad you're here. Hello. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you like and subscribe. Yes, Brenda Mason, this is the Lemon Nation. And Heen, yes, Whoopi Goldberg as well. So make sure that you watch that episode as well. We have a lot of content today, but I want to make sure that the Lemon Nation is that you are satisfied and you are fulfilled and that you have a lot to watch and listen to as it relates to what's going on in the world. So again, I'm so really happy that you're here. We have tons to talk about. I have a very serious question for you guys. This is really serious. Hello, Jackie Thomas. I'm really serious about this. What year are we in? What year are we in? Think about that. Because I felt like I've been put in a time machine. What is the Michael J. Fox movie where he goes in the time machine, back in time, Back to the Future? I feel like it's Back to the Future. And I'm going to explain why. And then I think that you will agree with me. Someone says it feels like 1954. That's Marie Marshicalo. I understand that, Marie. I understand. Bama Girl says 2024. No, it feels like 2016 all over again. Would you like me to explain why? Think about it. I wonder if anybody can get that. Why do you think it feels like 2016 all over again? Okay, so Stormy Daniels is a headline today, right? Hillary Clinton is a headline today. Donald Trump is a headline today. One of the lawyers downtown in the Donald Trump case was talking about the Access Hollywood tape today. 2016, all over again. Nothing has changed, it appears, in 8 years. We've been dealing with this for 8 long years, if not more. We're back in 2016 all over again, okay? So I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to tell you what happened in court today because it's very important. Stormy Daniels' testimony was spread across 2 days in the courtroom. Spread across 2 days. She took the stand again today. We remember the salacious testimony happening on Tuesday. Yesterday, they took a break. Well, because Donald Trump wants to continue to talk about people, to disparage witnesses, to disparage members of the court, to disparage the judge's family, et cetera, Donald Trump and his lawyers have done something unusual. It's another delay tactic. It's another delay tactic. What they have done is filed for an appeal of the gag order, which has to go through the process. What he is doing now is talking about why they filed that appeal to the gag order because he believes it's unconstitutional. But then he comes outside of court and he also talks about the judge again. The judge is conflicted. He mentions Judge Merchan by name. And then he speaks about why he thinks that this case should not even have been brought to court, and he uses the name of every pundit, every person who he thinks can help his case as he is standing outside of the courtroom. Now, let me tell you what Donald Trump is doing. And I told you this before. All in one fell swoop, he's complaining about this case, and he's saying that he's not on the campaign trail, right? That's what he's saying. I'm not out there on the campaign trail. What he's essentially doing, Donald Trump is campaigning from the courthouse. Because not only is he talking about that, he's talking about policy, foreign policy. He's talking about the current president, Joe Biden. He's saying that the current president, saying that he is letting down our allies, saying that Joe Biden did a terrible thing. I'm going to get to the terrible thing by not giving some supplies to Israel. So I'll explain all of that. I'm going to get to the Israel thing later. But I want you to hear what Donald Trump said as he came out of the courthouse. He's been told not to discuss the judge, not to disparage anyone. He has been sanctioned 10 times for violating the gag order. As I said, here's what he's doing. He is campaigning from the courthouse. Listen. Hang on one second. I'm not sharing it with you. Pardon me for that. I want you to be able to see it. My mistake. Pardon me. This is my thing that I do from home. So my mistake for that. Sorry about that. Let me share it with you so that you can see it. I'm sure you could probably hear it, but I want you to be able to see it. Okay. I think it's important that you see it. Here we go. Share. And there we go. If it plays. It doesn't want to cooperate. All right, it is not cooperating with me. That's how good I am with technology, everybody. I'm not so great with technology. Stop sharing and I'll redo it. All right, I'll stop sharing and then I'll redo it for you. Bear with me, please. All right, here we go. Stand by for news. Oh, get this right. All right, here we go. And then we'll play.
Thank you very much. What Biden is doing with respect to Israel is disgraceful. If any Jewish person voted for Joe Biden, they should be ashamed of themselves. He's totally abandoned Israel, and nobody can believe it. I guess he feels good about it because he did it as a political decision. You have to do the right decision, not the political decision. But he did a very bad thing. I just want to let you know that we've just filed a major motion in the appellate division concerning the absolutely unconstitutional gag order, where I'm essentially not allowed to talk to you about anything meaningful that's going on in the case, and many good things are going on with the case. It should have been filed. They had this morning the top legal scholars in the country. This is a Frankenstein case. They took a dead misdemeanor, they attached it to a dead alleged federal felony and zapped it back into life. So many of us are just amazed to watch us actually walk into court because it's not a recognizable crime that any of us have seen. That's Jonathan Turley. I've been doing this for 60 years and I don't understand what crime he's been charged with. Nobody understands this.
Okay, there are many people who understand the charges he's been charged with, that the things that he's accused of. If people did not understand that, we would not be here. If there was no legal need for this case, we would not be here. They take prosecuting a former president and possibly the future president very seriously. As a matter of fact, when I had Cenk Uygur on earlier, Cenk said it's a shame. He believes that it took Merrick Garland too long to bring his case to appoint a special prosecutor. He also believes that that Alvin Bragg took too long, 2.5 years, to file this case. So they were collecting the evidence, and now Donald Trump is out in front of the courthouse campaigning and complaining. Let's listen.
I just don't get the crime. There's no evidence of any crime whatsoever. This is a sham. That's Alan Dershowitz. And these are people that they speak their minds. They're not for me. They're for justice. This is another one. This is without precedent in American history, only with the desperation of President Joe Biden and his fanatic left-wing enforcers did it become possible to think about arresting and killing their major political opponent. This case must be taken out of Judge Merchan's hands because it's totally conflicted.
Now he's talking about the
Judge
judge
Merchan
again.
is totally conflicted.
Remember, he's got a
Like
gag order.
probably no judge has ever been conflicted before. Here's another one, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. His prosecution of former President Donald Trump violates both the federal and state constitutions. This is a prosecutor making it up as he goes along. Due process worthy of the names does not tolerate that. So these are statements. This is Andrew McCarthy made that statement. Highly respected. A judge is allowing wide scope of information that has absolutely nothing to do with the case. That's Rebecca Rose Woodman, Fox News. Today we have Rick Scott here, Senator Rick Scott. We have other politicians here. We have many people in support. The outside of this building is closed down like Fort Knox. Nobody's ever seen. We have so many police down here, New York's finest, and they are New York's finest.
So it has to be security there because he is a former president. He also has his own security. He has Secret Service. And the taxpayers are paying for this. But the taxpayers also did not get the money that he's accused of in another trial for inflating the value of his assets and then minimizing them in order to not pay taxes. And when people are saying it's a victimless crime, it's not, because the taxpayers did not get the money. So perhaps if he had paid that, maybe it would pay for some of the security, some of the New York City police officers. Let's continue.
They're just told what to do, but they don't have them at Columbia. They don't have them at NYU or any other places. This is like an armed camp down here, and you have nothing to worry about. Believe me, your problem is from the left. It's not from the right. Big problem from the left. It's from within our country. That's a bigger, in my opinion, a bigger danger than China or Russia. You have it from the outside and you have it from within. From within is a bigger danger to our country, and it's from the left, not from the right.
The danger to the country is from the left, not from the right, and China and so on. That is, you get it. I don't need to play any more of that. That was Donald Trump outside of the courtroom. Okay, we get what he's doing. So here's the thing. Sometimes we forget in all of this because, we talk about the salacious nature of this thing, right? We forget that there are human beings involved. And I know you guys, we talk about Stormy Daniels and what she testified about. And we forget that, again, that she is human. She's a human being. I don't think she should be shamed for what she does for a living. It's her body. It's her life. She can do what she wants. But the reason I feel like she is, it gets lost. What gets lost in this is the humanity. Now, at times on the stand, she's very strong. When questioned about her, selling her merchandising and the defense, Donald Trump's lawyers criticizing her for selling merchandise or merch, as they call it, well, she gave it right back to them. She said, well, Donald Trump sells merchandise, and she's right. What do you think those Make America Great hats are? That's merchandise. What do you think all those things at the Trump rally that he sells, all of those posters? That's merchandise. So she gave it right back to them. But there were times on the stand where she teared up, where she was sad, where she talked about having to hire security today, where she talked about feeling threatened in a parking lot. She had to take extra precautions for her daughter. She is a human being. When asked if publicly telling the truth has been a net positive or a net negative for her, she responded, it's been a negative. Can you imagine having all of your personal business there? And I know you're going to say, well, she is, she's an adult film actress, but she still deserves privacy. All Americans do. Are we living in 2024 or 2016? That's our poll question. But all Americans deserve the right to their privacy, regardless of what their profession is. So I just want to get across the humanity of what's happening. So here is Stormy Daniels, the first response from out of court came from her attorney today, through her attorney, who released a statement. And I want to play for you what he said about his client, because I want you to listen closely. And I want to know what you think about it. Okay? Here we go.
We have a statement now from Clark Brewster, Stormy Daniels' attorney, telling NBC News that he is proud of her and the way she handled her grueling testimony, a day and a half it was. He says she is shaken by the ordeal, but relieved it is over. That is a picture that he sent out on Twitter of the two of them afterwards. The first picture we've seen of her, other than the courtroom sketches. And in his statement, Clark Brewster, Stormy Daniels' attorney, tells us, I think she was directly responsive and transparent and did an excellent job of responding directly, simply, and thoroughly. And I am proud of how she conducted herself on the stand with courtesy and responsiveness. She feels a lot of pressure, especially in a trial of this magnitude in front of a packed courtroom, being covered by the media nationally and in a worldwide manner. And she is relieved that it's over. Continuing, this is from Clark Brewster, her attorney, the fact that she went through it and completed the objective, and she has a sense of accomplishment is important to her. She was cross-examined over communications over years, and having your memory challenged like that and having to respond to questions immediately with recall is not easy, and it was quite an accomplishment. She did a remarkable job of getting her testimony across. She is shaken by the ordeal and the social media and the attacks and venom that she goes through daily, and she certainly is always concerned about her safety. Both sides got a view of how bright she is. I will tell you, I thought she was just outstanding in her ability to relate the facts. That is from Clark Brewster, Stormy Daniels' attorney, to NBC.
I have to say, listen, I wasn't there, but what he says about Stormy Daniels' character, I met her once, maybe twice when I interviewed her, and I thought she was a very strong person as someone who was being interviewee. I thought that she was very strong. And I think he's right to get up there on the stand when that is not what you're trained for, when the entire world is watching you, when you could be the difference between a president, he's former or next, but we'll just call him a president, going to jail in an unprecedented case and being attacked by Donald Trump. I know what it's like to be attacked by Donald Trump. It ain't fun. But I would imagine that the attacks coming from Stormy Daniels, considering her role in all of this, I can't even imagine what it is. I can't imagine I don't have kids, having to make sure that my kids are safe. Worrying about that. I know what it's like to worry about safety. I know what it's like to hear a noise at night and say, oh my gosh, some Trump supporter made a threat against me on the internet or sent something to the station or whatever. I know what it's like. But to the level of Stormy Daniels, I can't say anybody knows that. I can't say anyone knows that. Now, listen, barring all of I'm just going to read this one thing, okay? So the thumbs up if you are enjoying this. I just want to know from you guys, seriously, how do you think Stormy Daniels did on the stand? And let's not talk about the salacious nature of that, but I mean, that is her relationship with Donald Trump, and she was responding to questions from the prosecution and from the defense. I want to know how you think Stormy Daniels did. Because I actually think she did a good job. And I think in all of this, let's remember the humanity of this woman. And she is a woman, and she's very proud. I want to know what you think. Okay? How did she do? How did she do? Let me know. She did great, says Tam. She did great. So I appreciate you guys responding to that. If in relation to this, I would encourage you guys to watch the episode that I have with Cenk Uygur, where we talk about all of these issues. Because he has a theory that the salaciousness of this case will help Donald Trump, that it will turn the jury off. That's what Cenk says. So I want you to be able to listen to that. So responding to this testimony, they're going to go for a mistrial on this. And, the judge said no yesterday. How did Stormy do? I'm going to let some more votes come in, and then we're going to discuss it. Cenk is wrong, says Cindy D. Miss Miss K. Clark, too, said she did great. Hi, Mom. How are you? That's hilarious. Said she did great. A thumbs up from Natalia. I love that you guys respond to this. I know, Tim said, stop saying it's unusual. People love it. You don't have to make excuses. I'm not making excuses for it. It's unusual and I love it because I get to talk to you guys. And I know people are not used to seeing me in this role. Even some of my friends and my family, they're like, I'm not used to seeing you. I'm used to seeing you buttoned up on an anchor desk. That's not what this is about. That's not what YouTube is about. That's not what this platform is about. Testimony not that salacious, says Portobellic Doc. Lisa said Stormy Daniels is credible. Tasha Caldwell says you're doing great. She is a strong woman, says Lisa. So you guys think she's doing a great job. Let's go to the polls and then I'm going to move on. So 300 of you have voted and you say Stormy Daniels did great, 91%. I always want to know what that, the contrarians in the group say. 91% say great, 9% say okay, and 0% said poorly. You guys are staunchly on her side. Not one person said that Stormy Daniels did poorly. She told the truth, says Antoinette B. Can you imagine the pressure? Not only that, your kid is to grow up and your kid's going to hear that and your family hears it, and it's like, okay, just because you choose that profession, it doesn't mean that you want your business all in the street. I can't imagine it. Okay, let's move on. And I want to talk about the other things that's happening. As I said, I feel like it is 2016 all over again. Okay? Because Hillary Clinton is back on the scene. And Hillary Clinton is talking about this case and other cases that Donald Trump is involved in. And I think Hillary Clinton makes some really great points. I have several clips that I want to show you of Hillary Clinton. She says the danger in this is that people are going to go to the polls, what she fears, and she knows. She said she studied it. People are going to go to the polls and they're not going to be sure. They're not going to be sure of the outcome of all of these cases. Therefore, this is putting us, Americans, in danger. That's what she says. I'll let her tell you how she feels about it. And here you go, Hillary Clinton.
It is a very difficult time right now. Justice delay, that is so opposite of everything we believe or should believe in our country about how we are a nation of law. It was tried before the Supreme Court, to my ear at least, were efforts to try to find loopholes, to try to create an opportunity for Trump to have attempted to overturn an election, to have carried out hundreds and hundreds of pages of very highly classified material for his own amusement, interest, trading, we don't know what. These are very serious charges against any American, but someone who's both been a president and wants to be a president again. That should cause any voter to think not twice, but many, many times over about whether we should entrust our country to him.
That was Hillary Clinton on Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. Now, I couldn't say this when I was in traditional media, but I can say it here. And I've said it before. I think that Hillary Clinton in modern times is the most qualified person to become president of the United States, man or woman. Man or woman. Succinct answers, complete sentences, good grammar, not stream of consciousness. She knows her facts. And she is warning. She's saying something there I think that's very important. Justice delayed is justice denied. She's saying that you should go to the polls. Americans should be able to go to the polls with the knowledge of what the outcome of all of these cases are. And especially the one she says in Manhattan. And I think the most important thing she said is the Supreme Court She didn't say the Supreme Court is fake. She just said the Supreme Court is doing the country an extreme injustice, a grave injustice, by slow walking this decision on immunity. She's not saying they shouldn't do it. Very succinctly, she said they should have made a decision so that the American people know. Transparency. I don't disagree with her at all. How can you disagree with her? The most qualified person to run for president in modern times. And she knows what it's like to run against him. She knows what it's like to be in this position. Remember James Comey? She knows what that's like. Hillary Clinton, again, I think it's important that you hear Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, again, talking about the danger of what is happening now, relating it to things that have happened in history. Things that have happened in history. Specifically, she talks about what happened in the 1930s. Now, there was someone who said she's comparing it to Hitler and Nazis. That's what happened in the 1930s. I'll let you be the person to decide if you think that's the proper context for this. But I want to play for you Hillary Clinton on Morning Joe, where she is discussing, I just want to make sure that I have the right clip on this, okay? That was the one I just played. Let me just make sure I have the right one. Okay, let's share that one.
And, when people ask me about
That's the one where she talks about what's happening in another thing. I'm not sure where the one that I'm looking for is. I'm not sure where that one is. Let me find it for you. And you guys are good. You can chill out for a moment while I find it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. Those are pretty strong. I'm not sure if you understand what she's saying there. She is comparing this to what happened in the 1930s. There's no other way of putting it. Do you think that's a fair comparison? Do you think that's a fair comparison? She's saying that people look the other way. She talked about the media. Don't, Don, hit the play button. You didn't hear it. Absolutely fair. Yes, press play. I hope I pressed play so that you guys could see it. But she is saying that what happened, what's happening now is akin to what happened in the 1930s. That a lot of people are supporting someone who is, you never heard it. My goodness, why didn't you hear it? I stopped sharing it. I'll play it again. I'll play it again. You say you didn't hear it. Let's play it so you can hear. Tell me if you can hear it. Tell me if you can hear it. I'm going to share, and then you can tell me if you can hear it. have to make sure I'm hitting the right thing. Yeah. All right, here we go. Wrong one. Where is my breaking? There we go. I think you can hear this one. Nope, can't see it. I'm just not on my game. Sorry. Not on my game today, but I want you to hear it. It doesn't matter to me. All right, here we go. This is the one. This is the one. All right, let me
The
know.
world
Can you
has
hear
been
it?
here before. People did not take the kind of threats that we saw in the 1930s as
Wow.
seriously as they should, including American journalists.
Not
People
playing?
were taking at face value
Okay,
that,
guys, I
this
can't
can
get it
be
to play.
controlled.
Tell you what she's saying, though. She's saying that people aren't taking it seriously. The press is not taking it seriously enough. There were members of the press who didn't take seriously what happened in the 1930s. So that is what she's saying. I'm not going to try it again, but I think she's absolutely right with that. I do think she's right. This one I think is also important because this whole idea about Donald Trump's age is really out there. And Hillary Clinton really hits it on the head when she talks about what's happening with Donald Trump. And she said, basically, guys, don't get it wrong. There are two people here who are older. There are two people here who are older, which she talks about. And she said, she talks about the
I don't
danger
mean
of
that.
But basically, she said there are two old guys in this whole thing. And one of them believes in democracy, and the other does not believe in democracy. And she says, if we want to continue to have a country, then we need to pick the one who believes in democracy. That's basically what she said. But I want to move on now, and I want to talk about the current president of the United States, because Donald Trump was out in front of the courthouse today. And I just want you to play. I'm going to play from the beginning of what he said earlier. Stop sharing. Okay. All right. I want to play what he said earlier about what happened with Joe Biden. Here we go. Hopefully you can see this.
Thank you very much. What Biden is doing with respect to Israel is disgraceful.
Black.
Any Jewish person voted for Joe Biden.
All right. Well, we have computer issues today, so I'll just stop sharing. Oh, I didn't share it at all. Okay, guys, you know what? When something like that happens, what do? You just move on. I'm not going to play it today. I'm not going to play anymore. I'll just tell you what they said. So Donald Trump was out talking about Joe Biden, what he's doing. Joe Biden is withholding some of the aid to Israel, and people are upset about it. Republicans are using it as a political talking point, saying that Joe Biden is essentially doing the same thing that Donald Trump was impeached for, the phone call to Ukraine. They're saying it's the same thing. And there was David Axelrod on CNN saying, no, it's not the same thing. Joe Biden responding last night to my colleague, my former colleague over at CNN, explaining why he's withholding the aid to Israel. And it's not for political reasons, but he believes that there should be some accountability in all of this. He believes that instead of just willy-nilly giving equipment to Israel is not good sense. It doesn't change the policy. They're still getting billions and billions of dollars. That was still passed. But he doesn't want this equipment to go in and just randomly kill civilians there. And Republicans are saying, well, this is the same thing. He is withholding much needed aid from an ally, from a very important ally. Democrats are saying he needs leverage in order to be able to have some accountability from Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government and the IDF. Otherwise, they will continue just to do exactly what they want to do, and they won't listen to their allies, and there will be no accountability. By the way, Benjamin Netanyahu says even without this equipment, this aid that the United States is holding, even without that they're going to go it alone. And they have the capability to do so, to go it alone. So that's what's happening today. Despite my computer not wanting to show you video, despite my computer wanting to put a black screen up. Always bet on black, right? But I want to take and see what some of you are saying, and then I'm going to let you go, okay? Olive Mercy says, amen, Don. She is one of the most qualified in regards to Hillary Clinton. Tasha Caldwell says, going against Israel is going against God, and that curses us. Bunny says, exactly. He's not even smarter than kindergarten students, speaking of Trump. Winky Campbell says, I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I am saddened by the Netanyahu's response, says Pacman28. Pacman28. Do you agree with Joe Biden, is the poll. Do you agree with Joe Biden's decision on Israeli military aid? Do you agree with him? That is our poll. Lacey Suter says, it's okay, Don, we love you. Yeah, yes, it's okay. I'm doing this from my home and a computer. So I'm going to wait for a little bit for the poll numbers to go up so that I can tell you what's going on. But I want to tell you that we have two great shows that are up. One I said with Cenk Uygur, and he explains how he feels about all of the things that we talked about today. The other one is the Whoopi episode. If you haven't seen our Whoopi episode, then you're missing out. Whoopi talks about her issues with drugs, drug abuse, cocaine specifically. She talks about her weight loss, that she had a back issue. She had steroids. She gained weight. She said she weighed 300 pounds. And now she's on Mounjaro, and that's the only thing that got the weight off of her. She has a message for people who have issues and who try to shame people for taking those weight loss drugs. She talks about her mother, and what's very interesting to me that I found fascinating was that Whoopi says her mom had a nervous breakdown when she was a child. She was admitted to an institution. Whoopi's father and grandfather allowed her mother to undergo electroshock therapy. And after the undergoing of electroshock therapy, Whoopi's mom lost her memory. When she finally got out of the institution, she came home, she resumed her life. And for 30 or 35 years, according to Whoopi, that's why you have to watch this interview, 30 to 35 years, her mom did not tell her that when she got out of the institution, she had no idea who Whoopi and her brother were. She had no idea who anybody was. Didn't know her own name. But she pretended, and she learned about her life through her daughter, Whoopi, Karen, and her son, Whoopi's brother, Clyde. That's how she learned about her life. Didn't even know their names. And she didn't tell them until 30 to 35 years later. She had to relearn to know them and relearn to love them. How's that for a childhood experience? So make sure you tune into that episode. Do you agree with Biden's decision on Israeli military aid? 82% of you say yes. Wow. 5% say no, I'm not sure. 13%. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Make sure you tune into that. The tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and tune into the shows that we have up. And maybe I'll get my computer to work tomorrow. All right. So thank you for joining us. I love you, Lemon Nation. I am off to something really fun that I'll tell you about tomorrow. Okay. Have a great night.